order the Village of Ashwaubenon Park and Rec Board meeting for Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. Roll call, please.
Chairperson Zerbal.
Here.
Ron Mauerman.
Here.
Nancy Matke.
Here.
Dean Hess.
Here.
Casey Telford, Donovan Miller, and Mark Castonia are excused.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance if you're able. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please keep in mind our brave men and women that are helping keep us safe here and abroad. All right, action on the agenda.
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion to accept in a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Action on the minutes from May 19th, 2026.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes from May 19th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Comments from the public must be limited to items not on the agenda. Must state name and address, limited to 5 minutes. Board's role is to listen and not discuss the item. Personnel issues cannot be discussed nor individuals named. Board is not able to take action at this meeting. Any comments from the public? Comments from the public? Nobody on the internet? No comments from the public. Acceptance of written reports. Before we get going here, I would like to, a letter we got from Mark Castonia. He's resigning the board. He wrote a letter to us. Dear Mary, please accept my resignation effective immediately from the Ashwaubenon Park Rec and Forestry Board. My tenure on the board has been rewarding for me, and I hope positive for the village. Sincerely, Mark Castonia. Well, thank you, Mark, for all your time and efforts on the Park and Rec Board. All right, on the acceptance of the written reports. Any discussion, anything, anybody want anything?
Any highlights, Rex, on any of it?
I can give highlights. Is there anything in particular that you would like to?
No, I just thought if there was anything that was of particular.
Well, we are running full bore right now on all of our programs. So the lake is open, day camp, special children's program, summer park program. Couple highlights, I guess. Bike van park started out a little slow the first few days, but we're getting up to like 9 or 10 kids already there per day, which isn't bad. That's, again, we haven't had a program there in about 15 years. We're getting a lot of the youth from the apartments and accommodations over on Mike McCarthy Way. So it's an easy walk over to Mike Van. So that seems at this point like it's working real well. Had a good opening weekend for Ashwaubenon Lake. We had 800 people the first Saturday, over 800 and close to 700 that Sunday. And if the weather's been good, we've had some good numbers at the lake. So that's starting off on the right foot.
Are the tennis court lights, are those all set?
Tennis court lights are almost ready to go. We did some re-landscaping around there. The lock box on the electrical unit didn't work correctly, so they are waiting to get a new lock in from the manufacturer, and then everything will be officially energized and ready to play. But the poles are up, installed, underground electrical lines have been put in, and everything so far so good. So hopefully when we turn it on, we'll find out then if there's hopefully not any dark spots. Otherwise, they'll have to come back and reposition some things. But things are going there.
Is that Musco? Are they the people that determine whether there's dark spots or what? I'm not familiar.
Musco does the lighting. Yeah, Musco does the lighting plan, Ron. They're kind of the preeminent sport field facility lighting manufacturer in the country. So they certainly we told them what we want, the amount of light we needed to meeting USTA standards in terms of, and then the village has different standards for minimizing light spillage, outside of the area that's supposed to be lit, so it doesn't impact the neighborhood per se. So that plan was all made out by Musco and submitted, and everything was as needed to be. And hopefully hopefully nothing was jostled or moved when the lights poles were going up, so,
Is that adjustable if there is
yep,
stuff back,
Yep,
the
yep.
houses there?
yep,
Okay,
yep. It's all easily readjusted if need be.
thank you.
Yep.
The new furniture that's been installed in the two parks looks really nice.
Thank you. Agree. I was wondering what everyone thought of it.
Very, very nice.
It is definitely heavy duty, like you can probably jump around on that and use it as a jungle gym and for those chairs out at Ashwaubenon and whatnot, and they're solid. I mean, it's hard to lift even a single chair. That's how heavy they are, so.
I'm particularly fond of that bench seating unit that you've got at Waterford. I think that's I'm anxious to see if it holds up and how it works, but I think it's it just makes the park look kind of cozy.
We are too. One of the things we wanted to do, because again, this is our initiative to try and put what's called gathering areas in the park. So rather than just have straight line benches everyone's looking in the same direction, we wanted benches, not necessarily tables, so people could sit and relax and talk to each other, whatever they wanted to do. And it was extremely hard to find someone that had a 90-degree bench like that. There's not a lot of them made. You could put two types of benches together, but they're not, it's not contiguous, basically. So we finally found one that there's a new product this year for them, and for a new design, I should say. So it's a full 90-degree angle, and everything is all integrated together, with the 90-degree angles. There's three pieces, and I think it looks really good. Like you said, time will tell, obviously, of how it holds up there. It's made of recycled plastic, which is what we wanted. We didn't want real wood. We didn't want metal. We wanted it a little bit more, like you said,
Upscale.
cozy.
Yeah.
So.
I'm also going to compliment the crew that does the tot baseball out at Cornerstone.
Oh, sure.
And you had mentioned in here some of the things that have gotten going. I don't know who organizes how they run things, but it's like herding cats anyway with that age, and they have it organized really well, and they're really good with all those kids.
Good. Thanks for the feedback. I will pass it on to the staff. Always good to hear. I think everyone probably has an invite to the band shell tomorrow. The band shell has their official ribbon cutting at 10:30. 10:30 is the official ribbon cutting. It looks like weather in the morning, at least at 10:30, is only a 10% chance of rain when I checked a couple of hours ago. That seems to have been a moving target. Every time I check the weather forecast, it's different. But it looks like we'll be at least able to get the ribbon cutting in and any discussion, speeches, that type of thing, actually in the band shell. And then it'll be up to Daddy D, Darren Johnson and Shelley. They're going to be showing up to the community center tomorrow about 8 or 8:30, and then we'll kind of huddle together and figure out, are we setting up on stage or are we going to be inside for the actual concert? So that'll be kind of a last minute decision, and we'll try and get that blast out to everybody tomorrow morning, so they'll know where to go.
I don't want to throw cold water on that, but mine says 38% chance of rain at 10.
Give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, seriously.
Refresh your browser.
Plus, every website you look at is also different. So it's a horse apiece. So,
Can we do it inside if we need to?
I mean, you can do it inside. I think for the ribbon cutting, regardless, we'll want to do the ribbon cutting on the stage itself. But any of the, I want to say the speeches, the recognition, I think needs to be in front of people. I mean, there's 3 families that graciously donated a lot of funding to make this happen, and I want to make sure that as many people as possible can recognize them for that. So if we need to have that part of it inside, so be it. But I think for photo opportunities, we'll do the actual cutting of the ribbon underneath the band shell, and then any discussion, speeches, talk will be inside. We'll see what happens. That's really about it. I mean, like I said, everyone, I mean, I could talk for hours just on stuff we got going on, because there's a lot of stuff, as there is every year with every agency. So, any other questions on specific programs?
When I was looking at the calendar, did it say Thursday, there's a evening thing at the park there too?
There is a food truck rally this Thursday night that starts at 4:30. It, again, depending on what weather site you look at, if there's rain on Thursday, it looks like it's supposed to end earlier in the day, which means it might be pretty decent for the food truck rally Thursday night. That's what our hope is. Again, we'll see what happens. 8 food trucks. We have the band Banana Wind. They are from Milwaukee, and they bill themselves as a Jimmy Buffett band. So they sing a lot of Jimmy Buffett tunes, a lot of tropical tunes, and as such, we have some new tropical beverage offerings, as well as some hula skirt bunting around the tent, as well as a couple of hanging parrots to kind of get into the Jimmy Buffett mood.
No, that's Ashwaubenon?
Ashwaubenon Park, yep. The band will play from 5 until 8.
And I'll just say your summer crew down in Ashwaubenon for the Ball Diamond area, they're doing a fantastic job this year. Just wanted to point that out. And I always appreciate working with Dan.
That's awesome news, Donovan, because we lost quite a few people last year. They had been with us. Last year was like having seasonal or almost full-time guys off. I think I only hired only one new guy out of 8 last year. This year, out of the 8, I've got 6 new guys, and 4 of them are fresh out of high school. So there's a learning curve there.
Yep.
So I'm glad to hear that they're doing well. We've got probably the leader on the Ball Diamond crew, you know well, Boone Kirst, and I know Boone is working with them and trying to show everyone the proper way to do things.
They're doing a great job this year so far.
Good, thank you. Anything else up for discussion? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the written reports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Items for discussion and possible action. A, consider, discuss, act on election of a park board vice chair.
I would like to nominate Donovan Miller.
Second.
I'll accept.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to nominate Donovan Miller for vice chair. All in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Aye, opposed? You got the job.
Congratulations.
Good choice.
Can't wait for that pay raise. It's nice. At least double, right?
All right, 8B, consider, discuss act on request to review park herbicide and fertilization operations.
Okay, so again, this is just more of an information thing and making sure everyone is comfortable with what we're doing. Every year, we are doing herbicide and fertilizer applications on multiple fields and multiple parks. Every year, we get calls saying we need to do more treatments, because this park has dandelions and this one doesn't, and then every year we also get calls from some concerned individuals, which I understand, that we shouldn't be doing any fertilized treatments, because obviously there's always been a level of concern out there regarding herbicide and what the long-term effects are. So what we do is, I kind of spelled it out a little bit, in your information packet. All of our athletic fields that Ashwaubenon Youth Baseball, softball, soccer, football play on have both treatments. And I think what the concern most is herbicides. All of the youth organizations and the high school obviously officially request us that, yes, they want to continue to do the herbicide, to do that on the fields. They don't want a field with weeds. They don't want a field with with whatever might be popping up that they're concerned about. So with what we put down, we typically contract for herbicide treatments with Spring Green. We've been with Spring Green for a number of years now. You know, we call around every few years and get different prices, make sure, you know, we're going with the low competitive pricing, which Spring Green has been. Spring Green is located within the village of Ashwaubenon. They also do Veterans Park for free. They feel that's a service that they would like to do. So what they do is they put down a 2D, 3D herbicide treatment at the parks that are requested by me. There are some, like I said, the athletic fields, every year, those athletic fields get it. There are also parks that get it. And the parks that get it are usually based on how bad the weed situation is at those parks. And those are listed, those are listed in your packet. Veterans Park, or the front part of the community center. Village Hall gets a weed treatment. Waterford Park, Aubinger, Sand Acres, and Smith are the ones that got it this year. For many of those parks that I just listed, we'll hit those parks for 2-3 years in a row, and then we'll let it go for a couple of years. And then when they get exceptionally weedy again, then we'll go back in. I'll be honest, a lot of the parks that are on that list are the parks that we get the most phone calls for saying, we want weed treatments in that park. We don't want all the weeds. And it's usually not one person. It's like at least half a dozen for each park that are calling in. So as much as I hate to say it, sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease, you know, because that's what the neighborhood wants. They want a green, clean-looking park. We'll do those treatments. And we'll do them for a couple of years, and then typically we kind of back off a little bit until it gets bad again. Some parks we don't do at all. Some parks that we've never got a call from that particular neighborhood to do them, so we don't do them. And we just let it go, and you know, there's a certain weed growing season, obviously, especially late spring, kind of where we are right now, where there'll be fairly prolific for a couple of weeks, and then just from the mowing and whatnot, they'll go away. So that's where we kind of are. The product that Spring Green puts down is no different than the product that they use on any homeowner job that is called for. You know, like if you called up Donovan, or if I called up and said I want my yard, you know, a treatment done in my yard, the same product that goes on our parks is the product that they would use on any homeowner land, obviously. And all of their applicators have a pesticide applicator's license from the state. In addition, some of our larger areas, Ashwaubenon Park, for instance, as a whole, especially like the middle part where our food truck rally is, where the soccer fields are and whatnot, a good part of the Ashwaubenon Sports Complex, because of the acreage on that, we have our own staff do that. We have our own spraying program. That usually isn't done till the fall. That's when we have the time to do it. So we sometimes on those parks do an application of herbicide in the fall. And again, all of our staff, Park and Rec staff, are also certified as pesticide applicators through the state. They've all taken the test. They've all passed. They're all licensed. So all of our full-time staff are. One other item of note is there are some spots in the village that have Phragmites. Argonne Park, some of the Lombardi Avenue right-of-way areas, a little bit in Hidden Valley, Ashwaubenon Park. You sometimes see Phragmites in there. Tim, our forester, is also certified as a pesticide applicator. He will use a different type of herbicide that's specifically made for water environment, because typically Phragmites grows in wetter conditions, which may or may not be a wetland spot. So you need to use specific herbicides 4 wetland areas per the DNR. For those areas, we typically use either rodeo or habitat, and those are the aquatic herbicides that are aquatic safe to use around those types of areas. So it all depends on what we're trying to take care of, and obviously, you know, if it's wet or is it a dry type of situation. But all of our people are certified, and we're not using any type of product that's not in general use, that you typically can't buy at Progressive Farmers or Menards or Home Depot or any place like that.
Rex says, I looked at your operational processes, and to me, it seems as though in any type of situation, you're trying to strike a balance between having something particularly have an aesthetic look to it or aesthetic value to it, yet also trying to mitigate any impact that it's going to have on humans and pets with regards to environmental factors of using fertilizers and herbicides, insecticides, and what have you. But the plan that I saw that you outlined in your information that you gave us seems to be rather reasonable. It's not something where you're putting these chemicals on, 1, 2, 3 times a year, annually, all the time. Weeds are a different beast, and they are very opportunistic, and they will show up any place they possibly can. They're designed to grow in very harsh conditions. I have a biology background. And so we all want our parks to look nice. We want our lawns to look nice. But I think the process that you have here really looks like a real decent balance between trying to get the best of both worlds and less human impact, environmental impact, yet still having the parks or the village grounds that our department is in control of looking nice. So I think the process that you have is very adequate.
Well, I appreciate that, Dean. Thanks for those words. I will say again, this is all required by the state, so we make sure all those requirements are being followed, whether we do it ourselves or whether we have it contracted out. But whenever a park is done, we ask the contractor, and it's hard, you can't put those little white flags that you see, pesticide application that you see in people's front lawn. You can't put them all the way around the park. I mean, you'd be using 1,000 of those flags per park. So we put them all on the main entrances. And then if it is a park that has maybe an adjacent playground or something like that, I ask our contractors to put additional flags around in any particular areas that kids may go in so that they don't go in. All of our applications are done early in the morning. In fact, sometimes our crew would come in if it's a spray day, in the fall. They would, instead of coming in at 6:30, they might come in at 5 or 5:30, so that it's quiet, it's not windy, you're not going to get any drift from the spray, and so that typically at that time of the morning, there's no one in the park that would be directly affected. If it's a dry day or has warm enough, the application that goes on the turf dries within an hour or two, and then it's safe to play on, basically, where it's not going to be transferring onto a person's body, and that's per our contractors. That's how they explained it to me multiple times. So we try and whenever we do it, we try and do the timing early in the morning. For instance, Spring Green just called me up 2 weeks ago and said, hey, can we do a application on Saturday morning? So then what I do is I'll call or email youth baseball, youth softball. Hey, do you have any practices scheduled? If so, can they be moved? Are there any Legion games scheduled? Is the high school practicing at all? So we make sure that when those applications are put down, certainly within the ball diamond areas, that there's nothing scheduled where people are going to be on there that day, at least not quickly, for that potential concern of transferring that onto someone's skin.
Well, I think this looks like it's well thought out, well planned, and as you pointed out, it's also being responsible to the neighbors that are in those areas. And I'd like to see us make a motion that we continue on the same path as we move forward.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue with the status quo. No changes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will carry on.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, items for next agenda. We have anything?
Tim will be back from vacation. I'm still trying to get in that darn forest report. So we certainly have that coming up.
Okay. Motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.